අප්පියේහි සම්පයෝගෝ දුක්ඛෝ පියේහි විප්පයෝගෝ දුක්ඛෝ යම් පිච්ඡං න ලබ්ධති තං පි දුක්ඛං සංඛිත්තේන පංචුපාදානස්කන්ධා දුක්ඛා ඉදං කෝපන භික්ඛවේ දුක්ඛ සමුදයං අරිය සත්‍යං යායං තණ්හා පෝනෝ භවිකා නන්දි රාග සහගතා තත්‍ර තත්‍රා විනන්දිනී සේයතිදං කාම තණ්හා භව තණ්හා විභව තණ්හා ඉදං කෝපන භික්ඛවේ දුක්ඛං අරිය සත්‍යං ජාතිපි දුක්ඛා ජරාපි දුක්ඛා ව්‍යාධිපි දුක්ඛෝ මරණම්පි දුක්ඛං අප්පියේහි සම්පයෝගෝ දුක්ඛෝ පියේහි විප්පයෝගෝ දුක්ඛෝ යම් පිච්ඡං න ලබ්ධති තං පි දුක්ඛං සංඛිත්තේන පංචුපාදානස්කන්ධා දුක්ඛා ඉදං කෝපන භික්ඛවේ දුක්ඛ සමුදයං අරිය සත්‍යං යායං තණ්හා පෝනෝ භවිකා නන්දි රාග සහගතා තත්‍ර තත්‍රා විනන්දිනී සේයතිදං කාම තණ්හා භව තණ්හා විභව තණ්හා ඉදං කෝපන භික්ඛවේ දුක්ඛං අරිය සත්‍යං ජාතිපි දුක්ඛා ජරාපි දුක්ඛා ව්‍යාධිපි දුක්ඛෝ මරණම්පි දුක්ඛං අප්පියේහි සම්පයෝගෝ දුක්ඛෝ පියේහි විප්පයෝගෝ දුක්ඛෝ යම් පිච්ඡං න ලබ්ධති තං පි දුක්ඛං සංඛිත්තේන සංකිත්තේන පංචුපාදානක්ඛන්ධා දුක්ඛා ඉදං කෝපන භික්ඛවේ දුක්ඛ සමුදයං අරිය සත්‍යං යායං තණ්හා පෝනෝ භවිකා නන්දිරාග සහගතා තත්‍ර තත්‍රාබිනන්දිනී සේයතිදං කාම තණ්හා භව තණ්හා විභව තණ්හා ඉදං කෝපන භික්ඛවේ දුක්ඛං අරිය සත්‍යං ජාතිපි දුක්ඛා ජරාපි දුක්ඛා ව්‍යාධිපි දුක්ඛෝ මරණම්පි දුක්ඛං අප්පේහි සම්පයෝගෝ දුක්ඛෝ පියේහි විප්පයෝගෝ දුක්ඛෝ යම් පිච්ඡං න ලබ්ධති තං පි දුක්ඛං සංඛිත්තේන පංචුපාදානක්ඛන්ධා දුක්ඛා ඉදං කෝපන භික්ඛවේ දුක්ඛ සමුදයං අරිය සත්‍යං යායං තණ්හා පෝනෝ භවිකා නන්දිරාග සහගතා
36 a.m. in Seattle, Washington State. I Bhikkhu Muni Putto Saktivi, and along with Sister Sakontem, also live from Seattle, would like to first pay homage to the triple gem, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and also would like to pay respect to Venerable Maha Sangha, especially Venerable Kassapa on camera, who is joining with us as a speaker today, and I would like to say welcome and greeting to everybody. Sister Kim Natimon, also live from Cambodia, joining as a speaker, and also all friends in Dhamma around the globe. This is the Dhammika Life Dhamma Sandana. It is organized by the Dhammika Life Foundation, and we have a weekly broadcasting program in both languages, Khmer language and English language interchangeably. And today, as of the same topic we have been discussing so far last week, entitled the Dukkha Samudaya Ariya Satya. So we will dive deep in detail in order to understand about what Dukkha Samudaya Ariya Satya means and why the Buddha expound this Dhamma, how important this teaching to liberate ourselves from suffering. So we have invited two Dhamma speakers to join with us, to share with us today, and Sister Sakon will introduce our speakers.
Thank you, Bhante. And so, yes, we have two speakers today, and I will introduce you. So our first speaker is Bhante Kassapa on camera. My respect to you. Bante, sir. And he is the Executive Director of International Cambodian Buddhist Center, Sri Lanka. Bante is also the meditation trainer. Currently, he is staying at Vipassanadhara Buddhist Center in Odong of Cambodia, and he is also a director of Cambodian Child Development Center for Special Needs Children in Sri Lanka. And our second speaker is Sister Kim Natimon. And welcome back, and thank you for joining us, Sister. She is an educator at Banasastra University of Cambodia, and she is a founder of Women in Buddhism Association, Dhamma Education. And so thank you for both for joining us today. And I wanted to start off with Bante Kemra. According to Dhamma Cakkappavattana Sutta, what is dukkha samudaya araya? Could you give us an outline? Thank you.
Thank you, sister, for the question. So at the inception, let me pay my homage to the Triple Gem and the Venerable Sirs, especially Venerable Muniputtu Soktivi, the founder, the director of Dharmika Life Academy, and my co-speaker, Sister Natimon, and the moderator, Sister Sakon, and the technical teams and the devotees, dear friends of the Dhamma in the Dhamma around the globe. So the cause of the suffering, or we call it the second noble truth, or in Pali it is called dukkha samudaya satya, is very broad and philosophical topic to discuss because the entire discourse is about the entire teaching of the Buddha. So like within 1 hour, it is really tough for us to cover everything, but we are trying our best to explain, to elaborate what we know, and corresponding to the questions are raised. So let me move to the fact incorporated in Dhamma Cakkappavattana Sutta in Pali. Idangko panabikkhave dukkha samudayang arya satyang yayang tanha pono bhavika nandiraga sahagata tattitatra binan nandini sayati dang kama tanha bhava tanha vibhava tanha. So like according to the verse, according to the sentence, the Pali sentence incorporated in a discourse, it says that the second four noble truth, the second four noble truth, or dukkha samudaya arya satya, or the cause of the arising of the suffering is desire. But according to the discourse, it has its own characteristics, that it is like yayang tanha pono bhavika. So the pono bhavika is the Pali. It meaning is it produces, or it causes the re-existence or re-becoming. It means that it pushes being to be reborn, to continue their circle of life, again and again, continuously. So this is the first one, pono bhavika, like re-existence, rebirth, re-becoming. So the second one is nandiraga sahagata. It's accompanied with the passionate greed, we can say it, or another term is it's bound with the compassionate greed. And the final one is tatta tatra binandini. It finds fresh delight, like in now here and now there. Like the simple meaning is it motivates the being, including us, to find the fresh delight, the satisfaction. I mean, in different planes, you know, human being, divine being, or Brahma, or like we will find delight, like the kinds of satisfaction everywhere, wherever we go. So like the kinds of pleasure. So namely, there are three desire according to the discourse. So the first one is kama tanha, like sense pleasure desire, and the second one is bhava tanha, becoming a desire for re-existence or desire of becoming, and the final one is vibhava tanha, desire for non-existence or a desire for annihilationism, or not to be born again, or destructionism. So this is the brief description about dukkha samudaya satya, or the cause of arising of the suffering. So yeah, that's all from me.
Thank you. So it's the root. Those are the roots of the cause of existence. Those three things. Thank you for elaborating that, and I'm looking forward to find out some more. And so, one of the things that in every day, it's we always crave for those three things. The sense pleasure, and the becoming, and re-existence, and just always want more. And so we'll just go find out some more with do you have any more to say, Bante TV?
Yeah, definitely. I think this topic is very short, just like Venerable was just saying. So we need actually more time to discuss in detail about the cause of suffering, the origin of suffering, and it is very important. That is why the Buddha expounded this second noble truth. And I would like to turn this next question to Sister Natimon also. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit. Why is it important to learn about the dukkha samudaya Arya Satya? Sister Natimon, are you here? Yeah,
Yes,
I couldn't see
Venerable.
you.
So first of
I
all, I
couldn't
would like to pay my homage to the Triple Gems, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And I would like to pay my high respect to Venerable Sir Hon Camera and Venerable Sir Munipatao Sok TV. And thank you for having me here today. Yes. Could you hear me clearly?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I saw it was freezing, so I'm afraid that internet is not good. So thank you for the question. It's very important to understand about the suffering. Yeah, we understand the suffering. It is extremely important about the first noble truths clearly, because as the Buddha says, he who sees dukkha see also the rising of dukkha, sees also the cessation of dukkha, and sees also the path leading to the cessation of dukkha.
She's freezing again because of the internet, I think. Sister Natimon, are you still here? Yeah, she's just leaving and rejoin. Okay. Yeah, it is very interesting what she is trying to say about understanding the Ariya Satya, accordingly from the first step to acknowledge and understand that there is dukkha, there is suffering, It is unsatisfactoriness, stress and depression and so on. A lot of problems in our life that is truly exists, and we cannot deny it, no matter how we, how much we want to run away from it. But ultimately all of us have to face all this unsatisfactoriness in our life, and that is why this dukkha satya become as the noble truth, because it is not easily be understood by the ordinary person, but it is to be understood by the noble one. And because this is the truth which is not easily be seen, not easily be understood, not easily be accepted, even though sometimes we know that we have problem, but ordinary mind of us, we always want to ignore whatever is happening, upside down. We only happy, we only want to see or want to experience something which is pleasant but not unpleasant. And as a matter of fact, we cannot avoid from facing all these realities in life. And that is why now we are learning, we're trying to learn more in detail about the dukkha samudaya ariya satya. I think it is so important, just like Sister Natimon was just saying. When we understand the dukkha, when we see the dukkha, we also will see the arising, the origin of dukkha. Maybe Venerable Kaspar, you can elaborate on that a little bit while waiting for Sister Natimon to get back. How do we see the arising of dukkha? Saying so is so easy, but how do aware of the arising of dukkha?
Yeah, so let me read what is in the book of the Buddha taught, that there is a Pali phrase, we call it yang kinci samudaya dhammang tang nirodha dhammang ti. I think this is where we have to understand whatever is often of the nature of arising or that is of the nature of cessation. Let me read: a being, a thing, or a system, if it has within itself the nature of arising, the nature of coming into being, it has also within itself the nature, the germ of its own cessation and destruction. So I think the book was taught and was translated by Venerable Sokdevi to his students. What I want to bring up is, this is where we have to understand that that is why sometimes it is mentioned in the scripture that we must liberate ourselves from suffering. And we might ask that, okay, if the cause of suffering is desire, why we still use the word liberate ourselves from suffering or the end of the suffering? Even the nirvana, the cessation of suffering, we don't use the sensation of desire, but we use the sensation of suffering. And you say, why? This is where we have to understand, according to Buddhism, whatever is of the nature of arising, it will be in the nature of cessation. It's mean like in Buddhism, whatever thing, if it is arise, or if it arises from its own root, and it will be destructed, it will be vanished by the same root, by the same cause. This is what I want to say. If its cause, if the suffering is caused by a desire, it will be terminated by a desire itself. So what I want to say, that within the suffering there is its cause, its cessation and its path. So that is why we have to understand. So and it is very apparent when, if you know that there are, every tiny particle elements we call ruka kalapas in Buddhism are originated from the fourfold sources. we call it samuthana, chatu samuthana, like ahara like ahara, kamma, chitta, and utu. But what I want to say, for example, the tree. According to Buddhism, the tree, its original source is the weather, the utu. So and it will be, going to its, original, like, I mean, the utu. What I want to say that if it is, arise, or if it is originated from the utu, it will be ceased by the utu. So I mean, this is what I can say about the question. And anything you want to elaborate?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much. And I see Sister Natimon have some technical problem. Maybe admin will have her soon. I don't know why she cannot join again. Okay, so Sister Sakon, you have any other question for our speaker?
Yes, thank you. So, why did the Buddha, Venerable Gaspar, why did the Buddha advise us to eliminate the root cause of dukkha? Can you enlighten us with some more information on that, please?
So you have to go back analyzing the threefold tanha, the sensual, sense pleasure desire, and another one is desire for existence, and the final one is the desire of annihilation. So I mean, only in Buddhism that it is found the real root of the entire suffering. So even in the discourse that it is said that it is a desire, but we, profoundly interpret from the commentaries, from the Abhidhamma, the causes, the root causes of the origination of the suffering is not only desire. So this desire, I mean, the desire is mentioned here because it is the main role, but it has its own supportive causes, like ignorance, like mental formation. Like, you can let me remind you the Paticcasamuppada, the Avijja, Sankhara, Vijnana, Namarupa, and on and so on. So, and specifically, Buddha addresses the bhava tanha. Okay, bhava tanha. So, like, sense pleasure desire is, like, to be honest, from Buddhist perspective, like, it can be eradicated to some extent if I mean stop using, like, we can live the household life and to become a monk. Like, we can stay away from the, wherever provoke us, like sensual pleasure, but how to say that, the strong rooted one, the strongly rooted one is desire of being yourself. We call it soulism, and like, let me bring, like, bhava tanha. So bhava tanha has many aspects according to Brahmajala Sutta, that this is the desire connect being with the soulism, thinking that I was in the past, I was in the future, it is mine, it is myself, it is I, and this is the desire that it creates a karmic circle. You understand, sister? And this is the desire that creates the karmic circle, pushing being to move from birth to birth, in the circle of life. This desire is the main role. So according to Paticcasamuppada, there are main causes for leading a being, to die and to reborn again, are the desire and ignorance. But they are friends. They are friends, and they play all together and connectedly. And there is another concept in Buddhism. We call it attava dupadana. It means that the notion, no, attachment or clinging or grasping to the notion of myself. Okay, so this desire, because abstract clinging is desire, right? So, but even it is used by different names, but desire. So the purpose, if we can use desire. So this desire, clinging or attached to I, to my, to myself, is the cause that make us, attached to everything and to be in the circle of continuity, like, born, death, your rebirth, like kinds of rebirth, the circle system, in the process. So that is why Buddha say you must eradicate the desire, otherwise, but this desire is about I, myself. Okay? You strongly grasp that it is my, it is I, it is myself. So that is why we are recommended to eradicate it. So yeah, that's all from me.
Thank you. It's going to be I think it's just so deep because there's a combinations of physical and mental mixed together with the desire and continuations of recycling. And could you give us a little bit more how we eradicate? How can we just give us a little example? How can we escape, from that desire? Because it's so hard for us to say, it's mine, it's my son, it's my mom, it's my husband, and it's so hard, it's so deep to see. Is there any way that you can put into simple term to explain to us how we can see it and escape that?
Okay, so but before answering your question, let me add something besides what I have been saying related to the second question. So there is another concept about desire that we have to understand why it is called Bhavatanha, desire for existence. So there is another concept we have to be, we have to take into the consideration is the karmic concept, and in Buddhism we call it Mano Sanchetana Ahara, and you know that the karma is volition, and I can bring the 5 aggregates, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. So Sankhara here, mental formation, is not about consciousness. It's about volitional formation. The function, the role of the Sankhara is form the volitions. It means it forms the karma continuously. Okay, and the desires within there. So, and I myself is there. So when there is a desire, there must be I, and there must be myself. There must be mine. So that is why I told you, even it is just a desire, but everything is there. Okay, everything is there. So the first step is to learn how, and in eightfold, the topic must be discussed in eightfold part, like the final noble truth. But let me answer your question. in Eightfold Path, the second one, right? I'm sorry, the Samma Sankappa, right understanding. There are three aspects in right understanding. One is the understanding of renunciation, Nekkhamma Sankappa. So this is, we train ourselves to renounce or to give up. So the first step of giving up, and in Mahachattarika Sutta, there are worldly, worldly right view and like mundane, supramundane. So before you practicing the supramundane Eightfold Path, you need to practice a mundane Eightfold Path. So that is why you believe in the Buddha, you believe there is a birth, there is a rebirth, there is a death, and you believe that there is a karma, and you believe that there is a fruit of giving. So, before you start to giving up, that is yours, it is yourself, it is you, you start to give whatever belong to you first. Okay, you have to start to give up whatever belongs to you first. For example, money, your clothes. That is why we practicing generosity and or sharing or social services. Or that is why in the Mahamangal Sutta it discusses nyatikanang sasangho, like hospitality towards the neighbors, the relatives. So before, like, remove, I can use the word remove, before we remove the I-ness, the ego, from the five aggregates, okay, like within us, you have to practice the outside first. That is why even the Buddha, he practiced 10 perception, the Dasaparamitas, the 10 perfections. He start giving up his family, his house, even his daughters, even his sons, even his wife, even his kingship. So, but only finally he can give up the I-ness, or the minus, or myselfness, only that. So, and let me a little bit, like in Vipassana, even the one who practice Vipassana still cannot give up the I-ness. Even they can see the arising, the passing away nature, the impermanent, the suffering, nonsense, like this here. They has kinds of like right understanding. So we have to build up right understanding that it is impermanent, it's suffering, it is not mine, it's not myself. So when the right understanding reaches, its pinnacle or its peak, okay, and when you are perfectly endowed with everything, you will experience it. But until then, everyone are accumulating the quality to give up the I-ness within ourselves. It's clear, yeah. It's
Yeah.
deep
Thank
topic.
Thank you, Pante. I think that is very deep, and we will discuss that in detail about the solution to end the suffering. Actually, what we are discussing now is the root cause of the suffering. So, as Sister Natimon already get back, so we let her continue explaining about the cause of dukkha. Why do we suffer, and what is the root cause behind all our suffering? This unmuted.
Yes, thank you very much, Venerable. And now I would like to pay my homage again to the triple gems, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, respected Venerable Sirs. And good evening, Sister. Yes. So to answer your questions that about what are the root causes of the dukkha. So, according to the Buddha teaching, I've learned that there are two things that are the root causes of the dukkha. One is ignorance, and another one is craving. So because we are craving for things and it results in hurting ourselves. For example, we are craving for something that we haven't had in our life. Can be wealth, can be the physical look, can be something that beyond our control. So when we cannot get all of those things, then it results in suffering, which is dukkha. And another one is ignorance. When we don't understand about the five aggregation, when we don't understand about the truth of life, then we attach to it. We attach to everything and we think that the five aggregations is real and we think that it has self in it. Like we have our beings, we have human, something like that. They think human is real. Not sure about what five aggregation are. So that is the ignorance and that is the root cause of all suffering. Yes. So I would answer this question by 2 points: ignorance and craving. Thank you.
Yeah, sister, you have been mentioning earlier about, to see the arising of dukkha. And this is what has been expounded in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. The dukkha, the arising of dukkha. Actually, the Buddha advised us to look into what is happening. But most of the time, we people tend to not look at, the situation, what is happening inside us. Rather, they look externally and putting blames on others. This person or that person making me suffer, instead of seeing the internal problem that arise out of their anger, their craving, their attachment, their ignorance, for example. But can you elaborate a little bit more in relation with this? How are we to see the arising of this, the cause of the problem? Can you break down a little bit about seeing the root cause of the problem? How are we to see it?
Yeah, thank you very much, Venerable. So in order to see those root causes of the suffering, one thing is to learn to understand about the Dhamma, what the Buddha teaching. So if we want to understand, like, for example, if we want to understand about health, we need to learn about how our body work. If we want to understand about the mind, we need to learn about the mind. Can be learning about psychology, learning about the uh, philosophy that can be related to the mind, but mostly learning about the psychology. And the same as the dukkha or suffering, in order to see or to understand all of those things, we need to learn about the Dhamma that teaching us how to eliminate the root cause of the suffering. So the root cause of sufferings that I just mentioned earlier, that it has ignorance and craving. So to see that, we can observe in our life. For example, if we are angry with anyone because that person hurt our beloved one, so with that feeling of that mind, that we react to the situation, so that things make us hurt inside, and this one is one of the suffering as well, because we crave for something to not happen badly to our beloved one, and as well as to ourselves as well. We don't want anything bad to happen on our life, and we don't want to lose our beloved one, something like that. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. As you said that maybe we need to learn the Buddha's teaching, so we have more capacity in acknowledging the arising when dukkha is arising. And yeah, maybe when Bob Camera also can add to that about, because you also been learning about the psychology both from the world perspective and Buddhist perspective. Is it easy to see the rising of dukkha? Can you give a little bit example? Because most of the time when we facing problem, we tend not to really understand the root cause behind it, and we just react blindly to what is happening, and that is why we create more, we double our dukkha. So Venerable, what is your explanation on try to see the arising of dukkha as dukkha?
Yeah, so this is my sentence, my motto, like our problems are our own desire. So whatever problem, like it can be mentally or physically, anger, jealousy, sadness, depression, anxiety, and so on, quarreling. When even we haven't, perfectly practiced the Vipassana techniques, but we can use these kinds of right reflection, understanding that, oh, this is my desire. My desire causes everything. Like just look inside or dive into yourself and look at what is the real cause of my divorce, or what is my real cause of disputing with someone, and what is the real cause that makes me hurt, make me sad. So you can have kinds of dissecting or interpreting that what is the real cause. You can find that. So but the thing is, what I want to share is you have to open it. You have to accept it, that is not you who make the mistake. It is not you who were sad, or who were, how to say that, who were depressed. Your desire was sad. Your desire made the mistake. Your ignorance was sad. Your ignorance made the mistake. So because it just, they are just the function. There is no being involving there. There is only the sadness and only the desire. So when you think in that way, or you ponder of in that way, like you will experience kinds of relief. Oh, it is not. Oh, it is not me. It is ignorance. You don't even use that. My ignorance. You say, it is the desire. This is the ignorance. For example, to be honest, like we are advised by the meditation masters that as monk, like we have many rules, and sometimes we make the mistake, and sometimes we commit the transgressions. So what we are advised, we have to think that, oh, what I have done, like what had gone wrong is not my fault. It is the nature of the ignorance. This is the nature of desire. So they are like that. They are suffering. They are very strong. So when we train our mind to detach, and thinking that the real cause is desire, and the desire makes everything happen. This desire constitutes everything. It is not mine. It is not me. So I'm no need to worry. So like when we understand in that way, like we will experience kinds of relief. I think that's all from me.
Yeah, Bante, can you add a little bit more concerning with, as you already actually explained the three kinds of craving or tanha, which will as the cause, the factor which leads to suffering. Can you give like exact example how this tanha form as a cause of suffering. For example, in terms of sensual pleasure through our eye, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind. How do the things that we bring in and out be the cause of the dukkha? Can you give the real example in daily life?
Okay, so like in simple example is when we see food, okay, when we see a food, and because of the past experience, we call it the vedana, the sensation or the feeling we got. The food is amazing. The food is how to say? I forgot the term.
Delicious, yummy,
delicious.
right? Yeah.
Okay, the food is delicious.
Or tasty.
or tasty. So when the past experience, arises again, and this sensation give arise to the tanha, to the attachment, to the clinging. We call upada. So I don't want to use many words, but simply desire. You like it because why you like it? Because you find it, tasty. You find it delicious. So again, when you don't understand that desire will or your likeness makes you suffer, you will fall into it, like and it never ends. You want it more, like hamburger. You eat today and tomorrow you will eat again because and you are you are attached to that taste. You are attached to that taste, like simply the desire, because after sensation the clinging arises, after clinging the desire arises. But this is very fast and expressive function within our mind, but simply because that desire make us fall into many troubles economically and physically.
Yes,
we want it more.
Yeah, you want to add on to that how our through six senses and six sense doors can be the cause of our dukkha. Can you have any specific example of daily life? Sister, yeah, sister, not one. Can you hear me?
Yes, Venerable. Could you repeat the question again? I
No,
couldn't hear the last part. Only the last part, please.
The same question with Venerable Kassapa. Just give example how the the sensual pleasures be the cause of our dukkha, because Venerable already mentioned three kinds of tanha, right? Like sensual pleasure, craving for sensual pleasure, craving for becoming and non-becoming. This is the three kinds of tanha that play as a cause of our dukkha. So just in in daily life, simple daily lifestyle, that we tend to not understand simple things that make us suffer. But actually, like Venerable was just saying about how how people feel attached to the taste of the food, and this attachment is the cause itself, is the cause of suffering. Do you have any other similar example based on the six senses?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. As we know that there are six senses according to the Buddha's teaching. Yeah, sense of sight, hearing, smelling, taste, touch, and another sense is in our mind. So yeah, Venerable Kassapa already mentioned about the sense of taste. So I would raise an example about the sense of smell. So like when we can smell a good smell, so we feel attached to it, like the brand perfume, like Chanel, like Dior, something like that. So we are happy to smell those smells, but when we go near the salvage system or the rubbish and we smell something not good, like a bad smell, so we we are not happy to smell of all of those smells. So it could say that people always attached to something that they are craving for, something that they like. When they face or they meet the situation or something that they don't like, then they have the feeling of reaction to it. So happiness or suffering, it depends on how we react to the situation. If we see the same situation but we feel and we understand that it's the truth, it happens because it's nature, it's natural, and can be because of our past karma, past karma. Yeah, so that's why it results in the present moment. So we understand about those things, then we will not be more suffering or not so much suffering. But if we don't look or try to understand things as it is, then we will be more suffer. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. It just brings me another, another question to Venerable Kassapa. I just try to relate it to the, simple life of the people. If we discuss too fine, too deep, I don't think our audiences can understand it. And of course, we can always, dive deep, through learning, reading by ourselves. But I would put this simple question to Venerable Kassapa. Sometimes people translate dukkha samudaya such as like wanting, craving, attachment, desire. Is something wrong with our desire? Because in our daily life we need something, we want something, and people always want this and that, and people tend to have the negative idea that if we don't want anything, how do we develop things, in terms of human existence? We need this, we need that. And is it wrong to crave for something, to want something, to desire for something? And they can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Okay. Yeah, it's not something wrong with the desire. I mean, desire for this, desire for that. The thing is, the way we use to get our goal is the issue. If we desire for, for example, for a good wife, but the way we are planning to get her is totally wrong, like it become a criminal, so it is wrong. So the way we put our desire into the action is very important according to Buddhist point of view. For example, to be honest, good and bad, we call in Buddhism punya bisankara, apunya bisankara, like good mental formation and bad mental formation must be eliminated. At the end of the suffering, or when we attain nirvana. But beforehand, we have to make our desire skillful. And because the translation seems negative, to some extent, but to be honest, in Buddhism, we need kinds of, I call it, in Buddhism, we call chanda, like kinds of wanting something, but you have to make your way right, not to harm anyone around you. That is nothing wrong with the desire. It's wrong with the way you put your desire into the actions. That's all from me.
Yeah, Mr. Sakon, you have other question for our speakers?
No, it's thank you, Bhante. I was just listening to both of Sister Natamon and you, Bhante Camera. I was just thinking that it's just the dukkha samudaya. Like you mentioned, fresh delight. We always want something fresh, something something beautiful unto our eyes, something beautiful that makes our heart feel, happy. And so, and all along, it's not just us, like this thing. It's the ignorance and the craving. And I was trying to figure out, well, if it's not me, it's the ignorance and the craving, it's the desire. It's not our fault, and it is, like for us, like sister Natamon can even relate. We like to wear a beautiful smell cologne, like Chanel or Estee Lauder. We want this, everywhere we go, we want to smell good. And if we don't like Bante on camera say, if we don't be mindful, we're going to have a tendency to like, oh, I want another design cologne. I want a different cologne. And all of a sudden, pretty soon your pocketbooks, money is going to be like run out because it's so expensive. So it's just being
endless, right? It's endless.
Yeah.
Be great for endless things. We
Yes.
want more and more.
Yes, more and more, desire more and more. Yes, that's when I was listening. So even the stress and then even the stress and anxieties, whatever we do, whatever the root cause is, it will affect our life, So that's what I can say. So do you have any more to put in, Ben TV?
Yeah, I remember one quote. I forgot the the writer. He said, actually it's similar to Buddhism, but he just made it beautifully written. As graving is like drinking the sea water, right? The more you drink, the thirstier you become. So in the same way, our craving is endless, is boundless, is limitless. No matter how much we gain, no matter how much we want, it will never be enough. Just like Mahatma Gandhi of India has this popular saying as the world has everything the man needs, but not enough even for one man's greed. That is why in the teaching of the Buddha, we see greed, attachment, craving, desire, clinging, grasping as something which which lead us to in a state of suffering, in a state of unsatisfactoriness, because no matter how much we gain, it will never be satisfied. It will never be enough. We always want more. If we get one, luxurious cars, for sure next year or in the year to come, we need, a new brand one, right? We always keep updating our desire the way they update the new series of materialism, So that is why I think it is important to understand, to see the cause of dukkha, so we may have a better way to manage our lifestyle to be with happiness. So yeah, let's move forward with another question. I think we have come to an end. The time is already, but I would like to ask another question to both the speaker, Mr. Vibranbola Kasapa. Well, if we learn the dukkha, samudaya, ariya satya, the cause of suffering, we know that the cause of suffering is caused by our own desire and our own clinging, our ignorance. So you already mentioned the three kinds of craving: for sensual pleasures, for becoming, and for non-becoming. And some people also try to understand more about, when we crave for existence, it's also like it also still the cause of suffering. And again, the non-becoming is also again the cause of suffering. Maybe it is a little bit higher level than the sensual pleasure. So can you just give a little bit explanation about, craving for becoming and non-becoming, why it is also the cause of dukkha?
The desire for sensual pleasure, to be honest, it can be, managed to some extent, but the desire for becoming and desire for non-becoming is very strong according to Buddhism, and because it is related to the karma, it is related to the karma. It is related to the circle of life, like Patichamuppada, that leads us to be in the process of continuity, like more and more. Is one thing, and the thing is, the I-ness is there, is one, but even though it is desire for becoming or non-becoming, it is still the mental formation or the volitional formation according to Buddhism. That is why the desire can be categorized into threefold, and the mostly emphasized desire is that too, those are the hardest desire that even us cannot remove ourselves from desire, because as you know, that in the first noble truth, that is in short, clinging to five aggregates is the suffering. So and it is the same, it like Buddha mentioned, it's again in another way, that bhava tanha and vibhava tanha, it's mean that same way, like clinging to five aggregates, because past life is related to our aggregates. This life, we are attached to our five aggregates. Next life, we are attached to our five aggregates. So this attachment must be eradicated. So this is why that desire for existence and non-existence. So, but it's very deep. But I think we discussed on very first day about eternalism and annihilationism, about that. It is another deep philosophy. But another thing is that, like, some people, they don't want this. I don't want this happen. So it's again a desire. Okay, I want this to be happen. I want this not to be happen. So it's kind of not becoming, like, I don't want to be born again. So this is a wrong desire. Like it is not. This one also has I-ness within it. So that is why Buddha address it in a different way, and we are told to eradicate it. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for both the speakers. Just remember, we're kind of like an actors and actress of the desire and ignorance. Sounds like it, so we just have to be very mindful. But I wanted to ask, before we end, I want to ask you, Bhante Kamra, what is your last message for us to take away for our audience? Okay, so just share with you a reflection that we practice as monk, that we have many rules, to follow, and sometimes we make mistakes, and sometimes we feel sad, sometimes we feel, depressed. So what I have learned is this is the nature of the desire. So this is the nature of the ignorance. So as long as we have the desire, as long as we have the ignorance, we have to experience sadness, hurt, depression, anxiety, jealousy. But by using this reflection, we will experience kinds of relief, kinds of healing ourselves. Oh, this is the nature, like accepting the reality. Oh, the cause of my sadness is desire. The cause of our scoring is desire. So when we learn to analyze, when we learn to accept, like looking from a distance, that, oh, there is no me there, like, so this is the nature, like, at least if even we cannot do it every day, but when we are sad, when we are making mistake, or when we want something more, or when we are about to get into the trouble or calamities or chaos, we can say, oh, this is the nature of desire, like to heal ourselves. This is the nature of the desire. Or we can look at the world, that the war everywhere, COVID-19, this and that. We can say, oh, this is the nature of the desire. That is why Buddha said we are enslaved
to the desire. So as long as we are enslaved to the desire, you have to remember you have to suffer. That is the nature. So that's all from me. Just to accept and move on.
Thank you. And Sister Natamon, do you have our last message to give to us?
Yes, I have a message for the audiences that are watching our live show right now. Since our topic is about the dukkha, and it is one of the four noble truths that the Buddha found when he was enlightenment. So I encourage all the audiences to understand this deeply and find time to learn more about these four noble truths. So by understanding what we raised up today, it's about the first noble truth, which is dukkha samudaya, dukkha araya sajja. That is important because like the Buddha says, he who sees dukkha sees also the arising of dukkha, sees also the cessation of dukkha, and see also the path leading to the cessation of dukkha. Though a lot of people might think that um, when we follow Buddhism, it's so pessimistic religion that we have to think about the suffering. Like the Buddha said, life is suffering, birth is suffering, old age or decay is suffering. So there's no happiness in it. But actually, when we understand about the suffering and we understand about the four noble truths, we kind of have the not suffering as um, as you always as we always think, right? Because like if we look at the Buddha's sculpture, we always see his face is smiling. We never saw the Buddha as sad or sorrow because the architecture have learned what the Buddha taught and how the Buddha's mind works and how the Buddha is full of compassion. So as the followers, we have the same path of removing the suffering by learning and practicing what Venerable Kassapa, Venerable Soktivi have mentioned. So yeah, the last message to conclude is that yeah, we better learn more deeply in order to understand the cause of suffering and find a way together to end the suffering and to see the real happiness. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much, both of the speaker, Sister Natimon live from Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and Venerable Kassapa Hon Camera live from Vipassana Turiak Buddhist Center of the Kingdom of Cambodia, Dong Kendal Province, for contributing the knowledge of Dhamma in concern with the Dukkha Samudaya Arya Sajja today. And I also would like to accumulate merit before ending the live. So may the merit derived from this Dhammatana be to all beings in the whole universe. May all beings be happy, be free from dukkha. And also I would like to thank you everybody for joining and viewing our live show, and especially special thanks to the team of Dhammika Live and Sister Bukka, also the admin who have support the program live show, and also all the teamwork who have been very devoting to our program to make this possible, so that we can spread the teachings of Buddhism around the world. Last but not least, I would like to invite everybody to spend several minutes to practice Metta Bhavana instructed by Venerable Kassapa Hon Camera. And for this time, I would like to say goodbye, good night to people in Cambodia, and good morning to the Western world. And we'll see you again next week. Until then, be happy and be well. Thank you. Goodbye.
Hello everyone. Let us practice loving friendliness meditation for oneself. Self-loving friendliness meditation is the first section of metta meditation. Self-loving friendliness meditation is designed to direct you to happily take care of yourself, to honestly forgive yourself, to truly accept yourself without conditions. Before starting, please find a very comfortable posture. Close your eyes. Relax your head, your shoulders, your arms, and your entire body. Please slowly take a very deep breath 3 times. When it is done, let your breath flow as naturally as it does. Observe your breath without judgment, reactions, and criticism. Just merely observe it as the way it is while you are listening to my Pali Metta chanting. Aham Now, please create a very tender smile on your face. Visualize your happy and smiling face. You are a very happy person with smiling face. Please keep smiling with honest heart, because you are going to bless yourself. Please be aware of the phrases which I am going to recite, and let yourself honestly feel the real meanings of the phrases. May I be well and happy. May I be free from hatred. May I be free from ill will. May I be free from anger. May I Be free from physical and mental sufferings. May I take care of myself happily. May I take care of myself happily. May I take care of myself happily. Now, take your right hand and place it on your chest, and you can mentally repeat after me. In this home, we are family. We live under the same shelter, so we must be kind to each other, be compassionate to each other, be friendly to each other, help each other, respect one another. Be happy every day. Keep smiling with honest heart. Be grateful. Be positive. Forgive even when it's really hard. Before open your eyes, please take again a very deep breath 3 times. Thank you. May you be well and happy.